The No New Friends podcast is brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations. For the best in vacation plannings, just visit www.sandpipervacations.com. Let them know that the No New Friends podcast sent you. So I turn on ocean sounds on my dot, and I'm going to go to sleep. Well, then the snoring gets louder. So now I've got to do, I call it the Rachel. It's her signature move in the middle of the night when I'm snoring. She nudges me, sometimes pushes me really hard until I turn over. So I'm trying to nudge her, and it stops for a minute, but then it restarts. So then I have to nudge her again. Well, then Chris, I got sexually assaulted. At this point, she was in beast mode. Ready for round two. And I'm like, I'm 44 years old. There's no way that this is happening.
It could be fatal.
And so she takes my body.
I have to call my cardiologist first.
I know, right? She takes my body pillow that I sleep with and throws the body pillow. And I'm like, what is happening right now? It was like really scary.
Scott, are you pregnant? Wait a second.
Is it a hentai body pillow?
You have a body pillow?
No, it's just a white body pillow. What's wrong with that?
I didn't ask ethnicity.
Of course that's white.
Of course that's white.
Broadcasting from the Sandpiper Vacation Studios. It's time for the No New Friends podcast. The podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting. The good, the bad, and the funny.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
That's right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast, voted number 1 by our friends and family, and number 3 by the Orlando Weekly Readers Poll. We are the podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting, and it's the podcast where everything unfolds. You can connect with us. All of our social media links are right there on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, check out our really sweet merchandise and join our clubhouse. Become a friend with benefits. That's our Patreon. And for as low as $2 a month, you can watch us record our entire episodes live and do a lot of different exclusive activities that only our paid friends can do. So you're going to want to join that today. Please follow us on the TikTok and the YouTube. We go live all the time from the theme parks, from Chris's couch, from all different weird places. It's awkward, it's fun, but do follow us on that. Happy President's Day, happy Valentine's Day, happy Mardi Gras, happy, there's a lot of things going on. Happy Black History Month, can't forget that one because someone will clip that I forgot to say that. My name is Scott, I am the host. With me as always, everybody is here, the entire crew. Our scumbag reselling hoarder himself, Chris.
Except Darren. I miss Darren.
The Jewish American princess, Sarah.
Hello.
Our emotional sport gay, Nick.
It's me. I'm a gay, and I'm back.
And live in studio, our producer, Alex.
I'm the guy who edits the podcast.
But you didn't edit it in. That's like live.
I know. This is just confusing.
You're
me.
real. You're a real person.
I'm the guy who will edit the podcast.
Oh,
That's
okay.
weird.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're the guy that will edit the podcast.
Dye your beard, Alex?
No, this is all natural.
That's impressive.
So, so a little weird podcast time. We've talked about like the timeline, space-time continuum. For us, tomorrow is Valentine's Day in a couple hours. This is like really, we're recording at 10:30 at night. So you may hear snoring. I don't know.
It's the witching hour.
It is the witching hour. Darren's in chat. Fantastic. Everything's fine.
The wise man is
So
in the
Valentine's
chat.
Day is tomorrow. Chris, I got the best news ever today.
What's that?
Okay, and I thought about you when I heard it. So Valentine's Day is tomorrow for me. My anniversary is Friday, right? So there's a lot going on. And so I looked at my wife. Oh no, you know what it was? It was Abby needed to get Valentine's cards, and she told me today that she needed them for tomorrow. So I was
good.
Yeah. I was texting Rachel and I said, hey, I'm gonna have to swing by Walgreens on the way home. And she's like, well, I'm already here. What does she need? I was like, well, Valentine's Day stuff. And I was like, well, I need to go anyway because I need to get a card. And she's like, no, we're not doing anything this year. Remember? And I'm like, what? She's like, we're going to Jamaica. Like, that's a very expensive vacation, courtesy of Sandpiper Vacations. For the best in vacation planning, just visit their website. Sandpipervacations.com. Just tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you. So
good job.
She's like, you don't have to get me anything. And I was like, this is fantastic because I did get her stuff. I got her stuff for our anniversary.
Nice.
I know.
Wow.
But, like, this is the dream, right, Chris? Like,
It is.
Your wife suggests, hey, let's go easy this year and not do anything.
Yeah. So Emily suggested the same thing, and it's always a trap. It's the classic trap game when they bring that up, because nothing for Valentine's Day still means flowers and some sort of edible arrangement of sweets.
Yeah, Nick just perked up.
Nick woke up real quick. So I'm still going to the supermarket tomorrow. I'm getting flowers, which are overpriced. I wish I could wait till the 15th when they go 50% off, which I did 1 year. It was great. And chocolate covered strawberries. So I'm still spending $45, and that doesn't count dinner. Emily is sick, so I am hoping we don't do dinner because it's a little cheaper. We can do the whole heart-shaped pizza thing, which is the best cop-out in the world because it's cute as shit, and it's also cheap as shit. So you do the heart-shaped pizza, you bake them in the oven, like $4, right? The chocolates and the flowers. Good to go. That's what nothing for Valentine's Day means, though, just to let most people know for next year, because this is airing after Valentine's Day.
Right. Yes.
You sure about that? That's nothing? Because we do nothing in my house, and it's straight up a card, and that's it.
Do you make the card, too?
I make the card myself.
That's pretty nothing, yeah.
But yes.
That's very nothing.
I even have my brother-in-law make the envelope that a card goes in.
That's weird. I didn't know you could make an envelope.
Yep.
Huh.
And why does your brother-in-law, is your brother-in-law like an elf? Like, why is he doing with making envelopes?
I do it at work. We work together. And I'm like, hey, make an envelope for this card I made that I printed on paper. Just normal
Why can't
paper.
you just put it in an envelope? Like I
I
understand
don't have
making
envelopes.
a card.
Why would I have envelopes at work?
To mail
I don't work
letters.
at a post office.
What you work at a place that probably would have to mail things out, though.
The gays don't even do envelope. We don't even make envelopes.
Yeah. So what do the gays do for Valentine's Day?
Each other, I would think.
Yeah, we just tag
That's over and over.
We
again.
just tag team it. We just do a little Eiffel Tower action. I don't know. We didn't.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't know the Eiffel Tower?
Well, see, that's where no.
So
not exclusive to the gays, actually.
yeah, I thought straight people did it first, and then we just kind of copied it a little bit. just picture 3 people, and we'll go from that.
Shaped like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, exactly. High five.
So
bro.
are you concerned, because it's not gay if it's in a 3-way? So are you concerned about it no longer being gay?
Oh,
That's true.
Me?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
a
it'd be
rule,
a guy in the middle, not a lady.
They never specified in the song, though, if it has to be,
Yeah.
I
I don't think it's gay if it's 3 guys.
No.
Yeah. It's not gay if it's in a 3-way.
It's actually the most manly thing you could do.
What's up, bro? We don't really do Valentine's really anymore. Like, to us, it's just a day. So,
Do you do stuff for the daughter? Because that's what my wife does. Is we try to do things for the kids.
and that's what I realized that my parenting skills have lacked this year, because we bought the $4 Valentine's boxes from Sean's work, and that's about all we've done for her. So I'm going to be going shopping tomorrow while she's at school to get all the clearance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't eat
You know what?
chocolate, so it's like I can't buy her chocolates. So I can buy myself
Shoot.
chocolates, and I'll eat them.
I didn't even think about my daughter.
I'm
Oh
gonna
my
have to do
gosh.
the exact same thing, Scott.
Yeah. Sarah,
Yeah.
we're going to have a big day
Literally
tomorrow
gonna
at
have to
Hollywood
go-
Studios doing a lot of shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get stuff for your daughter.
Yeah.
It's Valentine's Day.
I gave her the ability to watch the Super Bowl in its entirety, including overtime, so she could see Taylor Swift.
They hand right to Taylor Swift, by the way, as soon as they won.
Oh, of course.
Like, oh, thank goodness we can stop showing the game. Hand to Taylor Swift.
Oh, and then they got the money shot when they finally got to see each other after the game.
When they were kissing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then-
Yeah,
She's
not
rubbing
gonna
his
lie,
stomach.
I was in tears.
For who? For what?
I'm
Did you lose money?
I know I am so bought in to this whole Taylor and Travis thing now. Remember when I was like, it's annoying, and that's just because I couldn't make a fantasy football trade. I am 1000% bought in on them. I'm not necessarily a Swiftie or a Travis Kelce fan, but the two of them together, I cannot get enough of it.
I am a fan of them. I'm not a fan of either one of them individually like you, but yes, I am a fan of the both of them. I find it fascinating. It would be like if Michael Jackson was dating Travis Kelce. That's how I was explaining to somebody.
Right.
Because it's like the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of like, okay, Sarah and Lewis are the Wish versions of Taylor and Travis because they're like super cute, but they're like the value version. So it's kind of like we have our own little version of Taylor and Travis.
Wow.
I would say that
was a
Taylor
compliment.
and Travis are the Wish version of Sarah and Lewis.
I don't know. Did you see what they were wearing after the Super
Honestly.
Bowl party? I don't know.
Were they wearing something? I don't need to do
They
that in
look
my
fantastic.
relationship. So
I
still
on
think
the
that
way to
Lewis
Super
and I are the
party?
better version.
I mean, have you seen Lewis in the sweatpants?
Correct. Thank you, Nick.
I also don't find Taylor Swift attractive at all.
Yeah.
She's like the least sexual person on this planet.
I disagree.
I think you are in the minority.
That's fine. That's fine.
Sorry, and that's probably hurts.
Stop.
Yeah, I cannot like Taylor Swift because I work at a school and I have 3 girls in my class who are 4th and 5th grade, and they are so all over Taylor Swift that it is annoying to me to hear.
So listen, I'll tell you how it happened. For
How
me.
do you work at a school and there's no envelopes? I'm still on that, honestly.
Let's back up.
I'm so confused.
Back up.
But please continue. Taylor and Travis. Sorry, Scott.
So listen, this is how this happened for me, okay? I could care less who won the Super Bowl because I usually root for guys that I had on my fantasy football team. And I had Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. So but based on my typical rooting patterns, that's who I would root for. But I knew how happy my daughter would be if Taylor's boyfriend won the Super Bowl. So for her sake, it's just part of being a girl dad. That you root for things that make the girls happy. I don't know.
Can we talk about Usher being shirtless? 'Cause let's talk
He's
about
very
that.
sweaty too.
He was very sweaty. I mean, he
should
was,
not have been that sweaty.
Well,
and I'm a sweaty guy.
He was roller skating, and he's in his 40s.
He was.
My wife goes,
someone fell off the
his
stage,
eyes must
too.
hurt from the sweat.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's like he had so much sweat on his face and he was blinking really hard. Like you could tell sweat probably got in his eyes, and that stings.
Yeah.
He's a real pro.
That was the low point of the Super Bowl for me was halftime. I thought the rest of
Oh no, he was good.
I thought the commercials were great. I thought the game was great. I thought halftime was okay.
Mid, as they would say.
Mid, yeah. But I typically, if I'm not interested in the artist that's performing, that's when I go to the bathroom. That's when I go smoke because about an hour before the game, once we hit like that certain spot in the pregame, I don't get up off the couch. I sit there until halftime. I don't pee. I don't eat. I don't drink. Nothing. I sit there because I don't want to miss the commercials and I don't want to miss the game. So halftime it is. Something has to give.
No, the halftime show is usually when I go to the bathroom. I wore a diaper this year though, so I didn't have to miss anything. I was drinking heavily.
You drank a
during the
lot
Super Bowl
that
this
night.
year. Yeah, I drank 6 White Claw
Yeah,
Surges.
and
That's a
then-
new record for me. I don't know how I woke up in the
I
morning.
don't have anxiety, but then you give me anxiety. You're like, hey, I think I'm going to go TikTok live.
And I had no intention of going live.
At like
until you
12:30
said
at
no.
night.
12:30 at night, drunk.
Yeah, until you-
like we're coming off of our
you said
suspension.
no.
Like this is our comeback tour. And Chris is like, I'm going to go live. And I said, absolutely not. And then I get the notification on my phone. No New Friends Podcast would like to invite you to their live stream on TikTok. I'm like, oh my God.
So this is how it started. So I'm laying in bed with my wife. We're about to go to sleep, and I go to text on my phone, and I can't see my phone because I'm so drunk. And I'm like, I can't lay down yet. So I said to Emily, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go downstairs and watch an old wrestling pay-per-view for a little bit. And I go downstairs and I message you like, hey, I'm super drunk. I'm gonna go live. And then you're like, no. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go live. So, fun fact, that was actually my second ever.
I was going to say, I'm like, can you back up to the first time you went live?
That was my second ever because, like Scott said, it gives him anxiety when I want to go live because I like to push the envelope a little bit. So I went. There's this practice mode on TikTok Live where it looks like you're live. You can engage all the features and stuff. So I was like, I'm in the shower. and I texted everyone, I'm gonna go live from the shower. And I'm in the shower and I go into practice mode, send a screenshot of me doing that. And then when I go to, I honestly, to this day, I have no idea what happened because it was my first time ever on TikTok Live. And I see a countdown, 3, 2, 1. I'm like, oh, this is very realistic. and then it says I'm live. So it's a 2-second video that I promptly took down, but I have saved in the archives of me just frantically clicking the end button with like soap in my hair. So that was my first ever. When I did an hour on TikTok Live that night and kept it classy.
And let me tell you, I had to be up early in the morning and I wanted nothing more than to go to sleep, but I couldn't. I had to watch it till the end.
Scott said he was leaving. Scott's like, guys, I have to go to bed. I'll talk to you guys later. 15 minutes. I see Scott LaFay has joined the live. I was like, Scott, I thought you were going to sleep. He's like,
I couldn't.
And then you're talking to some woman about like a Crunchwrap Supreme to take a tour of your kitchen and show us these Crunchwrap box you have.
Don't remember that.
He was showing mail so that
then I went to talk about the next day.
It's this weird
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It was a night to not remember for me, but for others, I guess it was. I connected with some new people. Sarah popped in, Nick popped in, Scott popped in, Alex nowhere to be seen.
I didn't know you're live. I don't get notifications on my phone like that.
Are you following us?
Well, if you'd like notifications, all you have to do is go to TikTok, subscribe to the No New Friends podcast, and click that like button.
And just the little bell.
Listen,
Well,
I popped in probably like 3/4 of the way through, and I just remember that I was half asleep and I started sending him roses, and I realized he was drunk when he was like, "Oh my God, Sarah, thank you so much for the roses." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus."
Trying to do my best
feeling
impression.
Fantastic.
We love roses.
What's so funny is everybody was so excited. They're like, "Oh, we're finally getting to connect. You've been in our lives so much." And then Chris is like, "Oh, no. I'm not that guy."
Yeah, I was like, I'm not that guy, pal. I'm not that guy.
But also, can we talk about, so Scott, you went live at Universal, and how many viewers did you
we got up to 100.
Really?
You got 100.
Wow.
Awesome. Chris, how many viewers did you get up to?
I don't know, like 138, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but listen.
How much prep did you do, Chris? How much prep for your live did you do?
Everybody.
It's peer pressure, actually. That's the only prep. It's just peer pressure.
But get your shit together, Chris. He turns on and he's like, like I see his nostrils. He's messing around with the buttons. He's like, nobody can hear me. Nobody can hear me. So it went from 138.
It was telling me they couldn't hear me.
Yeah, it went from 138 to 7 and like really fast.
Yeah, it was not my proudest moment. I was stressing out. I go on. It says another microphone's using your app, so I'm closing out all the apps. My camera's probably shaking up and down because I'm just closing all the apps. I have 75 apps running at all times.
Yeah, it was like Michael Jackson or Mike. Cut that, Alex. It was like Michael J. Fox just went live.
You may want to cut that too. So I don't know if that's any better. So it turns out that everyone could hear me. And I had some very good conversations about the drug trafficking in Philadelphia. And yeah, someone from Philly was talking, reminiscing. That was the first thing too. She saw I was wearing the Eagles hat. She said, "I'm from Philly." We immediately just started talking about the drug trafficking in Philly and how bad it was. That's just give you a little glimpse into Philadelphia.
So something very rare happened for me last night. Okay.
Good. Hey, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Yep.
Was it 5 minutes?
So I got laid last night.
Longer.
And so we it was the perfect amount of alcohol. We went up, had adult time. And so, when we're done, especially if there was alcohol involved leading up to the thing, I like to come downstairs and smoke a couple cigarettes. Why? Why do I need to come downstairs? Because I want her to be asleep when I come back upstairs. Okay. Because I know that if she's not, she in that state has no concept of time. And so she thinks it's been much longer than it has since we finished. So I come back upstairs and I hear snoring, both my dog and her. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'm in the clear.
Whoa. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant something else.
No, I just wanted to go to sleep. So I turn on ocean sounds on my dot and I'm going to go to sleep. Well, then the snoring gets louder. So now I've got to do, I call it the Rachel. It's her signature move in the middle of the night when I'm snoring. She nudges me, sometimes pushes me really hard until I turn over. So I'm trying to nudge her and it stops for a minute, but then it restarts. So then I have to nudge her again. Well, then Chris, I got sexually assaulted. At this point, she was in beast mode. Ready for round 2. And I'm like, I'm 44 years old. There's no way that this is happening.
It could be fatal.
And so she takes my body because
Like, I have to call my cardiologist first.
I know,
What are you
right?
doing?
She takes my body pillow that I sleep with and throws the body pillow. And I'm like, what is happening right now? It was like really scary.
Scott, are you pregnant? Wait a second.
Is it a hentai body pillow?
You have a
I
body
have
pillow?
no, it's just a white body pillow. What's wrong with that?
I didn't
love
ask
my body
ethnicity.
pillow.
Of course, that's white. Of course, that's white. Scott's up.
So it's like at this point, I think I'm in Jurassic Park. Okay. I'm like, maybe if I don't move, her vision state based on movement. So I'm just laying there super still as she's just, all up in my, and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to go to bed.
Really?
And I'm getting groped. I feel so violated. I'm like, how do I turn without like making it seem obvious that I'm still awake? Like, let me pretend. So then she turns and I'm like, okay, good. So I like, my body pillow is now on the floor and I really want to reach and grab my body pillow so that I can comfortably go to sleep. But I'm like, I don't want to move. I cannot move because if I move, it's going to disturb her. And then I'm going to get assaulted again. I got assaulted again. Again. And I'm like, oh my God, like, can we spread this out a little bit? Like, let's, I don't need it every day, but
you did spread it out. You
I
went down and had 2 cigarettes.
Listen, I need time. Okay. I'm good for like a breakfast and a lunch and a dinner. Like lunch isn't going to happen. So anyway,
So I'm starting to piece all the puzzle pieces together, whatever you want to call it. I thought you guys didn't have sex a lot because you're older, you're busy. I think it might be because you have a body pillow. Like, can you imagine, like, you're just laying in bed? How do you get intimate with a body pillow between? Like, just peer over the body pillow, like, hey, what's up? Like, how does that even work?
On the nights that I think it's a possibility, I move the body pillow to the other side of me. So I remove the barrier.
That's your way of consent.
That is my way of consent. Exactly.
Body pillow.
It's like, when I put the loofah on the antenna, it's like, hey, I'm game. So when I move the body pillow, I'm open for business. I was not open for business at this time.
Wow, just way less cooler. Like, it's just way less cooler.
Also, the body pillow serves a second purpose. Okay, it's my barrier so that the dog sleeps on her side of the bed and not my side of the bed because I don't want to be disturbed by my dog.
So when you remove that body pillow, the dog knows it's fair game. Sleep.
Yeah, to sleep. You guys ready for a word of the week?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I still can't get over this body pillow.
Praise your Savior, let him speak. It's Lord Remy's word of the week.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. It is time for your word of the week. It is Fat Tuesday, all right? So Fat Tuesday, also known as Mardi Gras, is the last day of the carnival season and the day before Ash Wednesday, which marks the beginning of Lent in the Christian calendar. It is characterized by elaborate parades, costumes, and indulgence in rich, fatty foods before the fasting period of Lent begins. All right. So here's a little history on it. All right. The origins of Mardi Gras can be traced back to ancient pageant festivals such as the Roman festivals of Saturnalia and Lupercalia, which were marked by feasting, revelry, and the reversal of social norms. All right. So I'm going to see what else I can find about this because it says here in some countries, Mardi Gras is also known as Shrove Tuesday. The term Shrove comes from the word shrive, meaning to confess one's sins and receive absolution. It was customary for Christians to confess their sins and be absolved before the fasting period of Lent. And Shrove Tuesday was the last opportunity to do so before Lent began. And now here's some modern, all right? So modern celebrations. Over time, Mardi Gras evolved into elaborate celebrations with parades, costumes, and festivities, particularly in regions with strong Catholic traditions such as France and the Caribbean. The most famous Mardi Gras celebrations take place in New Orleans, where it has become a cultural phenomenon with weeks of parades, masquerade balls, and street parties leading up to Fat Tuesday. All right, now here is your joke, all right? Now here's the last one. What do you call lice on a bald man's head? Homeless. And there you guys have it. That was your
cute.
word of the week. And that word of the week for today was Fat Tuesday. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Word of the Week.
This is Abby with the words I'm learning in middle school. So Chris, I hear you are having anxiety about becoming a father. Well, I have the best dad in the whole world, and I've learned so much from him and his podcast. So, let me give you some tips. 1, teach your kid how to bartend. So when you lose your leg from the diabetes, you won't have to walk to get your drink. Number 2, don't let your kid swallow anything that doesn't belong in their mouth. If they do, ask questions. Life is full of learning opportunities. Number 3, teach them to finish things that they start. I have a few examples. If you start Corgi Coin 3.0, don't let her find loopholes and stick with it. Nothing worse than going into depth with your kids. Another example is if they start to make YouTube shorts, make sure they stick to it. There's nothing more frustrating than getting me excited about your YouTube success, just to have your main creator flake more than your hair with all that dandruff. Sorry, my dad writes these bits. And clearly, you all got stuff to work out. Finally, never, and I mean never, let your kid listen to this podcast. You don't want them thinking it's okay to have 58 jobs in 2 years. Have her pick business lady or medical professional. This week's middle school word of the week is yeet. Honestly, no one says this anymore, but I heard Nick wanted to know what it meant, so here it is. Yeet, to discard an item at high velocity. Mention gray sweatpants and my dad will yeet you out of this podcast. Congratulations to Taylor Swift and the rest of Kansas City Chiefs. In the last 5 years, Taylor Swift has won the Super Bowl, more than the Philadelphia Eagles. That's all for me, Slay Queens.
The Eagles joke was a little too far.
I know.
She must not watch wrestling because Yeet is very popular right now.
Very popular.
Wrestling's more for older people. So Nick, your daughter's learning all sorts of fun new words. Is she listening to the podcast?
Yeah, she's not listening to the podcast, but she's listening to Daddy and Papa and has picked up some words and is apparently in kindergarten they're teaching kids what good words are and bad words. And
okay.
Occasionally she'll ask me a question. She's like, "Is that a bad word?" And I'm like, "No, like saying stupid it's not polite. Saying the word stupid is not polite to say to somebody like, Scott, you're stupid." Oh, I guess that is pretty.
Why am I the example?
I guess that is pretty polite. That's a polite way of saying it to you. But but we're teaching her like polite words to say and stuff like that. So today she asked me, is saying "what the fuck" is that a bad word? And I'm like, well, it is at school.
You can use 2 out of 3 words.
You can say that as long as it's in the proper form of a sentence, I guess, to me. But
so as long as it's proper grammar, it's
exactly.
fine.
As long as you sound politically correct about it. But as a parent, I mean, talking to you guys that have kids already, and Chris is going to be learning as well too. We grew up. I feel like all of us grew up learning bad. We couldn't say that word. It was a bad word.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of teaching her, and I feel like a couple of my friends are teaching their kids to like, it's okay to say these words at home, but don't say it at school. What are your thoughts on it?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was also frowned upon to be gay back then too. So
It still is in Florida, but
yeah. You know what, Nick? Here's the funny thing:
times are
is
changing.
I did not allow Darren to curse in front of me until he didn't live here anymore. Like, and you know, he moved out, you know, probably is 19, 20 years old. but it was kind of like, no, when you live here, I don't want to hear it. And you know what? It wasn't so much for like a behavioral respect thing. It was the second I start hearing F words out of his mouth on a regular basis, he's no longer my baby boy anymore. So I think it's like trying to, for my benefit, maintain the innocence. Now he curses in front of me and it's like, okay, no big deal. But Michaela's never cursed in front of me. But she's also not allowed to she's not allowed to date until she's married either. And there is definitely double standard. If I don't know, I think it's more for my benefit because I never really thought about that approach, Nick, until you brought it up. And I'm like, you know what? That's not the worst idea. Like as long as you're like, okay, but when there's company over, you don't use those words. But if it's just in front of dad and dad, it's fine. It's an interesting approach that I never really thought of, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I think it's okay. I guess just like I said, for me, it's more of for my benefit. I don't want that innocence to be gone until I'm ready for it to be gone.
And I feel like it's like growing up, it was different too, because we had cable TV where they bleeped out everything. Everything was bleeped out, or they just didn't air it and they blurred it out. And now we have Netflix where she's logging into my Netflix account and writing my algorithms by watching mermaid shows. And then the next show we watch is something has cuss words and stuff like that. So it's just trying to teach her, I guess, respectful ways of using common words that everybody uses now.
Yeah, we both decided that the girls can say it when they know what it means. When you know how to use it, then it's, we don't care. But Lewis actually said this morning in the car, he's like, I really want to ask them like what their free pass would be if they, and I said, please don't ask them because I don't want to hear those words come out of their mouth yet. I really don't. But I have heard our oldest like sing songs that have, words in the lyrics, and I'll hear it and I'm like, oh no, it's too early. But, I grew up like, I was probably 26, 27 when I first started cursing in front of my parents. And I still started off with like, pardon me, but this is what I'm going to say, whatever it is. And I feel bad because I used to get in trouble, for saying something, any kind of curse word. But the girls are like, hey, when you figure out what it means and you can use it properly, go ahead. It's not going to hurt anybody if you know how to use it in a constructive way, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like the first time we've heard her actually say that word, Sean was driving the car and he was stopped at a stoplight and he's like, and she said, Papa, fucking go. So I'm like, if you're going to use it, at least like, I mean, she hears this, say it all the time in the car. So.
That is so funny.
And then right before we left for the Icon of the Seas, my parents were coming here to watch her, and she said it in front of my parents. My mom got a little nervous about it, and we just pulled her aside. We're like, there's words you can't say around Grandpa and Grandma. Mm-hmm. We're okay with it. Like, we like to leave that open book with her because I don't want to try to say when I'm saying it left and right. So
right. No, I get it. Yeah. Here's the thing, Nick. For me, I'm not a big cursor. Like, I don't necessarily use a lot of foul language just in general. And it doesn't offend me. I don't care. It's just, I choose to use it for emphasis and for comedy. Like that's when I save it. And that's why, like with the podcast, I never, podcast, you can pretty much say whatever you want. I mean, there was that time when we were on the Gleeker radio or whatever, and I didn't, but
Gleeker, yeah. That's
why I've always like, hey, I don't want to go crazy with these words because I've listened to podcasts where every other word is F this, F that. And I'm like, it's distracting. It's just a little bit for me. But yeah, I'm just not that, I don't know. Sarah, you've hung out with me. I don't think I cursed that much. I mean, like after a couple Bud Lights, then all bets off.
Yeah, but still, you don't very much. And I am a sailor, like an absolute sailor. So,
well, that's because of all the semen.
I've ever heard. You know, it is what it is. I will not argue with that at all.
Not wrong.
Yeah, I don't curse a lot either.
Don't believe that.
What's funny is you didn't.
On the
You
podcast.
didn't. I had never heard you say the F word until After Dark. That was the very first time.
yeah,
No. It was when we did the April Fool's episode on Diz Hiz. And
yeah.
The cutout monorail segment where
that was the best monorail of all time.
where the fuck is Alex, Jen, and Joe? And that was the first time I heard you drop an F-bomb. And I thought cursing around you was going to offend you because I never really heard it. Once we started After Dark, it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to reel him in a little bit.
Yeah. Our phone calls is like the every other word.
There's some words that we are not even going to discuss that we use.
Not like that. Not like that.
That's called racism, Scott.
Yes, like that. No, not racism. Never.
No, I can honestly say,
never.
hand to God, we've never, ever. I would say it.
Not with the hard R.
No, oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm gonna have to cut that.
Oh my God.
Alex, what about you with your kids? Now your kids are younger.
I have a 6 and 4-year-old.
So they're old
Oh,
enough.
okay.
Then.
So they're Piper's age.
Piper 6.
Yeah, so the worst thing my son says right now is stupid. And he says that out of anger. You're stupid. This is stupid. And whatever. That's the worst thing he says. My daughter, she has never had an urge to say a bad word. And she actually told on people saying bad words. Even if they're bad words like hate or dumb. Like, that's how she is.
I can see that about I've met your daughter one time, but I could see that about her. She's like definitely has that like super innocent, conservative, not gonna do any, like she's never gonna get into any trouble whatsoever until college.
Oh my God.
She's gonna experiment with
she
all
gets
sorts
in
of
trouble every day. But
Oh, really?
anyways. Oh my God. At the house, they're different. They're different with their parents. But she's like that with the words. And then we try our best not to curse around them. Like, I don't curse at all. My wife has a hard time reeling it in when she gets mad, but we don't curse around them so they don't hear it too often. And we try not to watch movies with stuff in it and whatnot. So it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, my son says stupid every day, constantly. And he's going to be the one that's going to go into school saying curse words. And we're like, we've never heard him say this before. What is happening?
Darren in chat Darren, my son, just brought up a great point. I really didn't care. I really didn't care about what words, except for whatever was the worst word he could say. Like, I would rather him tell me to go fuck yourself than to hear him say whatever.
Really?
Whatever was just, it was a trigger word because his mom used it a lot. Like that was her, she weaponized that word for sure. But yeah, I hated whatever. Chris, are you okay?
I just can't believe no one else reacted the way
I did. And I'm like,
Alex, it just totally flew right over your head, or you ignored it.
No, I didn't know what happened.
I tried to ignore it because as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, I probably shouldn't have said
Scott
that.
was saying the nicest thing about your daughter, saying how innocent she was. Because of course, until she goes to college, she's going to experiment with all sorts of things.
It happens. Intramurals, nothing below the waist, just.
Hey, she knows because of her aunt. She could be whoever she wants to
That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Chris, are you going to let your daughter curse? How's that going to work?
I'm very anti-cursing in the house. I don't curse around. Like,
Emily?
I don't curse around Emily a lot at all. To be completely honest with you, I just grew up that way. That's just the way I grew up. Like, I'll say words, but I never say the F word in front of Emily. Like, a lot at all.
My
Like,
wife and I curse constantly around each other.
we love cursing.
Yes.
It's just the way
F word's our favorite word.
It's my favorite word, but I'd never say it.
Isn't it the state word of Jersey?
Yeah, and I just don't say, like, I don't know. I just grew up not, like, I still don't really curse around my parents. If I say what the hell in front of my parents, that's a lot. Like, I just don't curse in front of my parents. I just grew up that way.
when my dad visited, he stayed for like a couple weeks. He was like, "You guys got to control the cursing." Like he thought it was a lot of hand.
Yeah,
he was like, "You guys need to calm down."
It's just I
love
love
if my dad had that conversation with me instead of, "Hey, I'm concerned about your alcohol consumption. We need to talk about that."
So yeah, I don't even curse that much in front of Emily. And
does Emily curse in front of you?
Not much, because I don't. I just
wow,
yeah,
that's
it's
interesting.
just yeah, and like we will like every once in a while, but it's just something we don't do. So yeah, I won't curse in front of my kid.
Okay,
it's just that's how I grew up.
Yeah. So real quick to wrap this up, in everybody's household, who's got the worst potty mouth? In my household, Rachel curses way more than I do. Chris,
I guess I don't know. It depends if I'm doing handyman work.
Eagles are losing. You're cursing like crazy.
No, actually, you know what? It's when the Phillies play. But yeah. Doing the Phillies during the playoffs is I use up all of my every
all
word
the
of
words.
the book. Yes,
Okay.
everything. I invent words.
Alex, you said your wife?
My wife is the worst with not controlling her language around the kids. Yeah.
All right, Nick.
I'd say it's pretty 50-50. Probably more me, maybe.
Okay. And Sarah, it's probably definitely you.
Yeah, it's definitely me. I mean, he's pretty bad, but it's definitely me.
Well, he can do it in Spanish, and it's a lot easier to get away with.
Yeah,
probably.
nobody knows certain words.
And it's attractive, honestly. So the more he does it, the better it is. So I'm going to have a conversation with him after this episode.
So we do not have Jersey Man, Florida Man this week, but Sarah, do you have thoughts from a Jew?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thoughts from a Jew with Sarah in the crew. Looking for a bargain every time it's true. A vintage treasure hunter, she's never a bore. A comedy wizard and so much more. So join the fun, it's time for Thoughts from a Jew.
So I figured out today a new version of Jew math, girl math, whatever you'd like to call it. So I went out for breakfast, and first time ever having bottomless mimosas, if you can believe it.
Wait, this is your first time having bottomless mimosas?
My first time ever having bottomless mimosas, because normally I come and see you and spend $15 a freaking mimosa.
What?
So yes. Well, I don't remember until the bill comes. But anyways, that's beside the point. Today was the first time having bottomless mimosas.
I've tried to remind her. She's like ordering her third one. I'm like, I look over at Lewis. I was like, she does know that these are $15 a piece, right? He's like, just let it happen.
Yeah, but they make them so well, so it's fine. I make great decisions after them. Today I sat there and I was calculating how much it was per mimosa if I continued drinking the mimosas. So I made it down to like $4 a mimosa today, and I was feeling every single bit of it. It was good. It was well worth it. I missed the first half an hour of whatever you guys were talking about this evening before we went live because I was still feeling those mimosas. Chris was begging me to go on TikTok live.
Thought I was going to get you.
I do recall that.
Were you close?
Here's the thing. No, because when I am intoxicated, there is nothing I want more than to put all of the windows in the car down and blare Freebird for myself and everybody around me.
Really?
That would have been great, actually.
Yes,
Do you
really.
hang your head out the window like a puppy and just like let your hair...
Like the Joker?
I didn't want to bring that up, but why do you think my hair looks so good right now? It's because it was right out the window.
So that's why TikTok Live would have been good.
Yeah.
I know.
I just didn't think they'd hear me. Although when I started, I texted you guys because I felt like I was narrating what was going on because I got up to a light. Well, Lewis was driving, of course. We get up to a light and there's this homeless man on, with a sign that says, "Why lie? I need a beer." And
that's not
I
what the sign
immediately
said.
started
The sign
digging through my
says,
purse.
"Catch me live streaming on YouTube 10 p.m." Quote Chris Yob.
Oh, heard. Okay. Yeah, he did resemble you a little bit. But No,
This is
I'm
the
just
hat, right?
kidding. Yeah, that's what it was. The future mullet, I should have taken a picture so you knew.
I know, I need a model.
There you go. No, I was digging through my purse trying to find money so that I could tell him, hey, here you go. You need to get on my level. So I don't know if the Jew math actually worked out, because whatever I saved in mimosas, I ended up giving to somebody else to get on my level. So it was fine. It was great. And I don't know if I should have done that, because I already know I'm going to be intoxicated tomorrow when I'm with you.
Right.
So, I'm definitely feeling it. So, but $4 a mimosa, that's not bad at all. I'm pretty proud of myself, and I will be doing it again next week, I'm sure. So
I love it. Yeah.
I'll try and do TikTok live.
There you go.
We'll try.
Thoughts from a Jew with Sarah in the crew. Looking for a bargain every time it's true. A vintage treasure hunter, she's never a bore. A comedy wizard and so much more. So join the fun, it's time for Thoughts from a Jew.
So you guys know right before Christmas, I dropped a ton of money on these permanent Christmas lights, the landscaping up lights all that. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to update you guys for a minute. So,
oh my gosh.
To recap, day 2 of having the permanent Christmas lights, they stopped working. Turns out like a squirrel had eaten through the wiring. So they had to come back out, put conduit all around the wiring to prevent that from happening. But then like the app wasn't working. I couldn't change the colors for my house. So I had to like go all the way downstairs to set the presets, because I had to be close to the transmitter box so I could be on the transmitter's Wi-Fi instead of my house Wi-Fi, because the Wi-Fi wasn't going through the house or whatever. It's this whole thing.
Sounds like a great buy.
Great buy. So about 2 weeks ago, landscape lighting stopped working. Just stopped working. And I text the, I guess he's the owner of the company, but my sales guy, but I think he's the owner. Text him, nothing. Text him a week later, nothing. Finally, yesterday he texted me. He's like, hey, can you send me a screenshot of the app? And I'm like, sure, it's all on. And he's like, have you had any landscaping work done? I'm like, well, no. I mean, like we had some tree work done, but that was after it stopped working. So outside of my regular mow, edge, and trim or whatever, we've had nothing. And if basic landscaping is going to knock out the system, then I want the system replaced for free, because like basic landscaping shouldn't knock this out. And like, as I'm trying to figure this out, I'm seeing wires everywhere. Like as I'm digging into this a little bit, I don't have to dig very far. There's wires just exposed, just there.
I think it's your problem, Scott. You shouldn't be digging into these wires.
I'm not. All I have to do is look. I don't even have to dig. They're there. And I'm like, I said, really, I looked at Rachel. I said, really, this is your fault. Because she put me in charge of that project. And
she put
making
me
the phone
in charge,
calls.
and shame on you.
Yep. Picking the company. And now I'm the contact. I have to contact this guy. Everything would have been solved if she would have just called him. And I don't understand why, because she's not going to take that shit. She works in construction. She deals with these asshole guys all the time saying, hey, look here, little lady. And my wife's like 6 foot tall. She's not a little lady. I don't know why. It's like, Sarah, do you guys set us up to fail? Because I feel like that's what's happened. Like she knew I was going to fail at this. And it's like, this is, I guess I've been doing so well at the chores lately that it's like, this is now the one thing that we can hone in on. Is that how it works?
We have our moments like that. Yeah, I would agree. Sometimes maybe
where you get set up to fail. Chris,
you guys up for
do you get set up to fail?
For legal reasons, no. Never.
Alex?
My wife refuses to call anything. She refuses to talk to people. But the unfortunate thing is I'm very laid back. I'm very calm. She's not. She's 100% Italian, so she gets very mad very fast, which get things done usually, right?
Right.
If you get mad and you start talking with passion, people do things for you. And I'm like, it's fine, whatever. We'll do it whenever. We'll do this, whatever. So like she usually has to end up calling afterwards to fix the thing that I didn't fix because I'm okay with it taking longer than what she thinks it should take. So then she has to call him anyways. So I'm like, why don't you just call them? She's like, I don't want to call him. You call him. So then she always ends up calling him anyways. So yeah, she's setting me up for failure because she knows I'm not going to yell at people for not getting things done when they should get done. I'm going to be very laid back and nice about it.
Nick, do you set up Sean for failure, or does he set up you for failure? Or does it not work like that in a gay couple?
We're perfect people. We don't fail.
Heard.
I say I'd probably set him up for it sometimes.
I can see
That's
that.
why we don't give him a hammer anymore.
But then you're not setting him up for fail because you know his limitations and you know what he's not going to be good at.
Yeah, there's some things that I like to do just for entertainment purposes, for content.
Nick, do you have a travel update for us?
I do.
Nick's on the mic, so it's time to take notice. And if you don't like it, that's homophobic. Stay the hell out of his way. Move on, gay.
Post Valentine's, if you didn't get your Valentine's a present, now's the best time to book your vacation and win that love back. Send them the sandals. They're gonna love it. So actually today I drove 2 hours to Cleveland, Ohio. Unfortunately, not a fan of Cleveland. I know. To a travel trade show. Basically, it was it's
a great place for a travel trade show. Cleveland.
To Cleveland.
Yeah, the second best place is Delaware.
Yeah. I mean, we used to send clients to Idaho, but now to Cleveland. So, but the tourism board for Jamaica and Aruba, Jamaica, I want to take a.
You had to finish it.
Somebody had to. We don't have the rights to the full song, so
Remy will play the whole song right here.
It was actually Aruba, Jamaica, Antigua, and St. Lucia were present. So the tourism managers from those islands were there to talk about their islands a little bit. They also invited some different resorts there as well too. So it was a really great opportunity for me as a travel advisor to go learn a little bit more, find out about some new resorts that are opening. There's some new ones opening down in Aruba that sound amazing. And it was just a great opportunity for me to continue growing my learning experience so that I can pass that along to my clients. So that's one thing that I just like to share with people out there is just that using a travel advisor, we're not just here to book your vacation. We're here because we are experts in the industry. We are continuously learning from our suppliers, finding out the latest and greatest information for you guys as well too. So lots of exciting destinations for you to travel to. Jamaica, like I said, was there. Sandals was there as well too, which Scott is heading to.
So excited.
In,
so excited.
A month. So
yeah,
we're super excited for that. To hear your feedback on it as well too.
Let me tell you, the best thing about booking this vacation to Sandals with you is every time my wife gets mad at me for something, I remind her, I'm like, we're going on vacation in 40 days. And she forgets about the reason that she's mad at me. So thank you for that. So Nick's saving marriages since
I'm saving marriages and she's paying the bill for it, which is, I don't know how that works, but yeah, it's always great to learn from these people and from our islands, from the tour operators or suppliers. We have a lot of great networking abilities. Like working with Sandals, where I can actually reach out to Sandals directly and make sure that they have those bottled waters in your room for you, those Diet Cokes in the room for you, your Bud Lights. So I'll work to make sure everything is readily available for you so that you can just show up and have fun and live stream.
Yes, I can't wait to go live from Jamaica. Thank you so much.
Alex, I think I joked about death too much this episode. You ever just feel like a cleanse from No New Friends?
Oh, yeah, always. Every Wednesday after I get done editing the podcast, I need a cleanse.
Yeah, just like a little bit of family-friendly content, right?
Something wholesome.
You have a recommendation?
Our other podcast, Diz Hiz, the Disney history podcast, I think would be a great alternative.
Do I have to like Disney?
I mean, it helps.
All right, well, because I love Disney.
Well, that's really good. That's a good start.
Where can I listen to this podcast that I record with you?
Well, our podcast comes out every Tuesday, but if you want, you can also go to our YouTube channel, Diz Hiz Pod, and we have all of our past episodes up on there. We also on all social media under Diz Hiz Pod. We do post every week, and we also have our own Patreon, just like No New Friends.
Really? I'm going to have to go check this podcast out that we do together.
Yes, I would love if you listen to our podcast once in a while.
Alex, what do you got coming up on Diz Hiz this week?
Oh, Diz Hiz. You know, it's funny. I was supposed to be on Diz Hiz this week, but I had to back out because my son was a little sick, so I had to help with that. But thankfully, RJ stepped in and filled in for me. So we had RJ, Chris, and Ryan go over the history for Fantasia. And it was a good episode. It was our first ever episode live on YouTube. So if you are on the YouTube, go to Diz Hiz Pod and check us out. But it was on Fantasia, and it was I read the history before the episode, and it was really interesting history. And I watched some of it live, and it was pretty funny.
Well, awesome. We'll definitely have to check that out. Chris, you got any Cliff Notes?
I do.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
All right, so fair warning, it is the witching hour. I don't know if these are my strongest Cliff Notes ever, but it's the witching hour. It's Scott's fault for making us record this late.
Whoa. I was fine recording tomorrow. I don't do anything on Valentine's Day with my wife. You suggested that we record not on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, because you have a body pillow, so that's probably why.
I had to delete like 3 of my Cliff Notes now. I had a body pillow once. Anyway. Tonight we had a ton of men on the show tonight. A ton of men. Nick was doing jaw exercises looking like Joey Chestnut about to start the hot dog eating contest. It was crazy. Oh, gosh. I talked about how Taylor Swift was not attractive. Alex agreed with me. Scott disagreed. I guess that's because Taylor Swift has the figure of a middle school girl.
Wow.
Not a middle-aged girl.
Wow.
Alex talked about how his brother-in-law makes an envelope for his handmade card that he gives to his wife. Alex is so cheap that he makes his brother-in-law make envelopes for his handmade cards.
Speaking of Jew math,
so good.
I'm so cheap. I'm so cheap.
Scott talked about how he owns a body pillow. Now, these things are usually supposed to be similar to your size, so naturally, Scott had to order his from Tractor Supply. Remy's word of the week this week was Fat Tuesday, or for me and Scott, Tuesday. Sarah talked about how she gave a homeless guy $1 at the stoplight today. That's actually my partner, Dirty Mike. He thanks you for it, Sarah, so thank you. He really appreciate that contribution. Scott asked Nick if he or his husband ever set each other up for failure. Now, I feel like the only time that happens in the gay community is one of them eat Mexican for lunch. I talked about how I don't curse a lot in the house, and that's just the environment I grew up in. I can use that excuse for cursing. Scott, you can't use that excuse for you trying to convince me that we should bring back segregation.
No,
it's
stop.
not because of the time period you grew up in. All right, Scott, it's not okay.
I mean, I was
It's
brought
not
up that way, but
just because he grew up during that time. And lastly, Scott talked about how he keeps reminding Rachel that they have vacation in 40 days whenever she gets mad at him. Scott, I hope she listens to this episode before vacation. So when you tell the story about her sexually assaulting you, you can remind her about your vacation.
Alex, maybe we should.
And those are my
cut that.
Cliff Notes.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
Thank you so much, Chris. Alex, where can our listeners find you?
Oh man, you can find our information, Diz Hiz Pod at all social media, Diz Hiz Pod on YouTube. Go to our link tree. You know, if you like Chris on this podcast, then you'll probably like Diz Hiz.
What about you specifically, Alex? What's your home address?
My home address is Florida, Daytona Beach area.
Oh my gosh! Okay, great.
No,
Thank you.
That was
I'm gonna
more
start
specific
searching.
than okay.
Yeah.
Nick, where would you like our listeners to reach out to you?
Grinder. You can find me on Instagram, Emotional Support Gay Nick. all one word on there, or Nick Bryan on Facebook. I am MEDA certified now. Got the check.
Oh, that's right.
Nice. Sarah?
You can find me at so many places, but Old Soul Thrift on Instagram. Please help me get rid of my stuff. What else? Super Sarah 94 on TikTok. Start following me, please, because now I have to be more active on TikTok, and I just look lame compared to our podcast page. So you have to follow me on there now.
Chris, where can our listeners follow you?
Follow me on Instagram at Chris Yob. Follow me on TikTok at Chris Yob NNF. Don't send me a friend request on Facebook, please.
And you can connect with us as the podcast, nonewfriendspodcast.com. All of our links are right there in the top left corner. Please follow us on TikTok and the YouTube. We go live every Wednesday night to record our episodes. And then every Wednesday morning, the adventures of Scott Lewis and Sarah and Darren from the theme parks live on the TikTok. So you're going to want to check that out. If you listen to us on any platforms where there's a review, please give us a review, 5-star rating, a like, a thumbs up, a nudge. I don't know, all those good things. It just really helps us out a lot. Check out our really sweet merchandise. Sometimes designs get up there and then get taken down 2 days later. So you're going to, if you see it and you like it, grab it. Because a week later, especially if it's something from the Walt Disney Company, it won't be there for long.
I love using copyrighted material, so get it quick.
Yeah, but this wasn't copyright. I'm still a little pissed about this.
It was AI and it was Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
I stole one of the designs from a famous company that used the same design, and they still took it down.
Anyway. And you're not going to want to miss next week's episode. Really, you're going to want to be a Patreon member because we've got a huge announcement that only our Patreon members will be able to see in our Discord. We're not showing the announcement on the YouTube. You're gonna have to wait just to hear the announcement. But it's not gonna be as cool. The pageantry. There's a whole promo video for it. There's pageantry. There's excitement. And you're gonna miss that unless you're a Patreon member. So
sounds like the gay pride parade.
It could be.
We have the Friendies coming up in 2 weeks, if I don't forget, and that's about it. So on behalf of our Lord and Savior Remy, Abby, our producer Alex, Game Master Ryan, who couldn't be here, Nick, Sarah, Chris, I'm Scott. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, bitches.
No new friends, just the old and the bold. In the world of gays, we're the ones you hold. Scott, Chris, Sarah, and Nick, a tale to be told. Welcome to the podcast where adulting unfolds. Where adulting unfolds. Where adulting